combinedly, where you will be having this chapter number 1 is properties of fluid, 2 is statics, 3 is buoyancy and metacentric height. Chapter number 4, where without considering the forces, you will be without considering the forces, you will be studying about the motion of the fluid particle, which will be a mathematical approach where you find streamline, streak line, path line, stream tube, velocity potential functions, circulation, etc. in kinematics. And in case of kinetics, you will be considering the forces like pressure force, gravity force, viscous force, turbulent force, compressibility force into consideration, and you analyze the motion of the fluid particles. So this is the heart of fluid mechanics, where you will be getting at least 4 marks from these chapters. The weightage here till dynamics is 4 marks. Always do remember, students, one of the very important subject, mechanical students will have a weightage of 6 marks to 8 marks, and civil students will have a weightage up to 10 marks to 12 marks. 4 marks will be directly from open channel flow for civil engineering aspirants. Rest will be from fluid mechanics and hydromachinery. Civil students don't have hydro machines. Mechanical students have a topic called hydro machines. So this is how the subject is being classified, right? Any doubts to any students? Any doubts to any students?
No, sir.
Yeah. Now, I am going to tell you why did the name fluid mechanics came into picture. Can anyone tell me? Yes. Simple logic, students. The concept of mechanics, when you apply on rigid bodies, you will be getting a subject known as engineering mechanics. Whatever the force you apply on the body, never ever the body gets deformed in engineering mechanics. If you remember the first unit or the first chapter of engineering mechanics, where you talk about forces, resolution of forces, parallelogram laws, Lami's theorem, etc., friction, trusses, whatever you study. And the second part in dynamics also, the body deformations or the deflections won't be considered. So always do take that engineering mechanics concept of forces applied on rigid bodies. You get engineering mechanics. On flexible bodies, what do you mean by flexible body? Where deformations happen, you call generally it as strength of material or mechanics of solid. Strength of material or mechanics of solid. And finally, if you applied on fluid element, you call it as fluid mechanics, which I am very much interested on. For a mechanical and a civil aspirant, all these 3 subjects are very important, and 110% these are going to give you around 15 to 18 marks for a mechanical and civil engineering aspirant. I'm telling you, if 28 to 30 marks are your cutoff marks, generally, if we take on an average, it won't be 28, it would be 25 to 28 only. Engineering mechanics for mechanical aspirants 2 to 3 marks, and for civil students 2 to 3 marks. Strength of material 6 to 8 marks, fluid mechanics 6 to 8 marks. And if you prepare for mathematics, which will give you 12 marks, over, you got qualified in your GATE examination. This important are the subjects, and very basic fundamental subjects. Mechanical students, engineering mechanics, you'll be very easy. You'll be getting strength of material, fluid mechanics, design of machine members, theory of machines, tom and vibrations, which you are going to handle it very easily. See, with three basic subjects, you are getting 4 applicative subjects, and maths and aptitude, if you prepare 110%, you will be a gate rank holder. Whereas civil aspirants, engineering mechanics, strength of material, fluid mechanics, which will help you out in steel structures, RCC, water resource engineering, environmental engineering, and geotech engineering, where these are the highest weightage marks. And from here, you will be getting the most of the marks in your gate examination. Again, you will be a gate rank holder if you prepare this subjects with maths and aptitude, which will fetch you very good score with this basic subjects. 3 fundamental subjects which a mechanical and a civil engineering student should always have a grip on are these 3, and this is how the name of the subjects has been evolved. Now, what are the governing laws of fluid mechanics? This was the question asked in ISRO, an interview question, governing laws of fluid mechanics. Why I am teaching you in this way? Because at the starting of the class, I clearly mentioned that the difference between an academic study and a competitive exam study is totally different. I told you that I'm going to show you the difference. You people have completed studying fluid mechanics. We don't know what is the proper definition of fluid mechanics, but how the name of the subject got evolved, etc. But now every student here should know what is fluid mechanics, what is the definition of a fluid, what is the definition of fluid mechanics, classification of fluid mechanics, and how the title fluid mechanics has evolved. And now I'm going to tell you what are the governing laws. When fundamentally and science student, especially an engineering student, should always know the governing laws for the subject what he is studying, because everything, the science which is always having a proof, the subject will have a proof for sure. A single line which you are studying in your textbooks always have a proof. So without a governing law or without knowing the governing law, how can I study the subject? What are the governing laws of fluid mechanics? Can any student tell me?
Continuity equation, energy equation, momentum equation, Navier-Stokes equation.
How they got? What is continuity equation? Who gave that? What is the base for that? The laws are law of conservation of mass, law of conservation of mass, law of conservation of energy, law of conservation of momentum. What answers you told are absolutely right, but continuity equation has a base of law of conservation of mass. Mass in should be is equal to mass outlet, that is mass out. Without knowing this, do you get continuity equation A1 V1 equal to A2 V2 or du by dx plus dv by dy plus dw by dz equal to 0? No. So the basic governing law that every concept in fluid mechanics should accept is law of conservation of mass, which is going to give you continuity equation. Without a continuity equation acceptance, there won't be the flow categorized into, as you people know, and that is called as law of conservation of mass. Whereas in case of law of conservation of energy, what is law of conservation of energy? Energy can neither be created nor destroyed, but it can be transferred. This is nothing but the pressure energy getting transferred to kinetic energy or datum energy. A very, very important equation, Bernoulli's equation. According to Bernoulli's equation, P by rho g plus V square by 2g plus Z is equal to P2 by rho g plus V2 square by 2g plus Z2. Applying the Bernoulli's equation, how did you get Bernoulli's equation integrating the Euler's equation? What did Euler take? Obviously, law of conservation of energy. If there is no law of conservation of energy, if there is no transfer of energies, that is from pressure energy to kinetic or kinetic to datum or vice versa, there is nothing called your fluid mechanics lab will not be established for sure. The establishment of fluid mechanics lab purely depends on law of conservation of energy. The orifice meter, venturi meter, pitot tubes, rotameter, friction factor finding instruments, turbines, pumps, and etc. are purely based on law of conservation of energy. Coming to momentum, What is law of conservation of momentum? Initial momentum will be is equal to final momentum. The mass of fluid coming with certain velocity initially comes and hits a certain mass of the blade, and the blade also starts rotating with certain velocity. That you call it as the momentum exchange is going to happen here. So that is called as law of conservation of momentum. Total turbo machine, once the fluid energy gets converted, you will be talking about your momentum only. So these are the three governing laws of fluid mechanics. So by this, you people will understand what is fluid mechanics, what are the classifications of fluid mechanics, what is the definition of fluid mechanics, and how the name of the subject got evolved, and what are the governing laws of fluid mechanics. Any doubts to any students still here? Yes, any students have any doubts? Do you find any difference? Yes. Any doubts you have, you can ask me. Any doubts to any students?
No, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you people clear by this way, the total thing of fluid mechanics, the concept of fluid mechanics and all? Finally, why I was teaching you in this way, because every aspirant who is going to prepare for the competitive exam should always know that how to prepare, what to prepare, and when to prepare. If you keep these 3 points in your mind and start studying the concept, how to study the concept, what exactly you're going to study in the concept, and when and where from this concept got erased from, that is the root of the concept which you are going to study. If you do in this way, obviously never ever a GATE exam is going to be tough. It would be very easy exam. So this is what you people should understand. Last concept which I want to tell you, how will you study fluid mechanics? What is an approach for fluid mechanics? Can I know what are the different approaches for fluid mechanics? Obviously, some approach should be there to study the subject, right? Can anyone tell me? And how did you study fluid mechanics generally? Euler's approach or Eulerian approach. Okay, one student. Lagrangian. Very good. There are two approaches called Lagrangian approach and an Euler approach. Lagrangian approach and Euler's approach. In case of Lagrangian approach, we say this as single fluid particle approach. Single fluid particle approach. Whereas Euler's, we call it as control volume analysis. Control volume analysis. This is the different approaches which you have. Single fluid particle approach and a control volume analysis. Single fluid particle analysis. What did Lagrangian do? See, he has considered a pipe having some fluid particles inside it. Lagrangian, what did he do is, he has considered a single fluid particle in the flow and he analyzed the motion of this fluid particle from section 1 to section 2. By taking some characteristic length, he started walking throughout the pipeline from the starting to ending, and he has taken one single fluid particle and he analyzed the motion of this fluid particle. And he is saying that he'll give the properties of the fluid like velocity, acceleration, discharge, etc. in this analysis. Whereas when coming to Euler's approach, he considered the same pipe and he says that I'll be fixed here without moving and I'll consider a control surface in the pipe, and I'll analyze the motion of these fluid particles. And he says that the average will be given to you. The average of all the fluid particles, that is the velocity, acceleration, and discharge. So, which one is the finest method? Basically, Lagrangian method will give you the accurate results, but the time taken to solve this Lagrangian method will be very, very, very high, because each and every single fluid particle position should be known by its coordinate form. Every fluid particle will have one equation. If you have 100 fluid particle inside, you will be having 100 equations. Solving these hundreds of equations are going to take the much time, but the accurate analysis you are going to get, or accurate result you are going to get. Whereas when you are talking about Euler's approach, the time taken is very, very less time is taken for the analysis, but accuracy will be bit less when compared to Lagrangian approach, because control volume or control surface analysis is nothing but whenever you consider a particular area, the observer will be concentrating on the particular area, and he will be giving the average of the property of the fluids like velocity, acceleration, and discharge. That is, this is called as free surface. This bottom one is fixed surface, and the control surface, the observer concentration will be always at a particular point, which we call it as control volume analysis. This is how you study fluid mechanics. So these are the two different approaches for fluid mechanics, right? Hope you people have understood clearly what and how the subject is being evolved with the subject called as fluid mechanics. If you people have any doubts, you can ask me now. Any doubts regarding the subject, you can ask me now. So basically, this is the strategy preparation for your GATE examination, not only fluid mechanics, any of the subject. If you take this in this manner and you start, yeah, sure, ma'am. Try to study in particular manner, you will be achieving your result in the GATE examination. So this is how the analysis of the subject should be done. I didn't tell you anything much about fluid mechanics. The approach of the subject, in this you have tens of interview questions. Most of the time when you go for interviews for any PSUs or any MNCs and all, most of the questions will be from this way: how this name subject is being derived from, what are the governing laws, what is the analysis or the approaches for the subject, and what is the definition of fluid mechanics, what is the definition of fluid, what is the difference between solid and liquid, etc. And finally concluding with what small bit here, a very, very important question, again many times asked: if suppose on solids, if you remove this shear stress, will this body come back to its original position? On removal of shear stress, will the body come back to its original position? Yes or no? Until within elastic limit, obviously the body will come back to its original position. Whereas if you remove this shear force from the liquids or fluids, will the body come back to its original position? Will the fluid come back to its original position? No, it won't. If there are some fluid particles which will come back to its original position on the removal of shear forces, that you call them as viscoelastic fluids. Very, very important bit. Fluids which regains to its original position on the removal of forces are called as viscoelastic fluids. Very important bit here, right? Hope you people all understood the concepts which I dealt till now, and understood how to prepare for the competitive exam, especially GATE. And here the GATE Forum Trichy team are here to help you out. Each and every subject, each and every faculty will be dealing the subject in this manner to drive the best content into your brains and get the best results out, right? For queries, you do contact to the given number there, and you can get your doubts clarified, right? Any more doubts regarding the class, student? Hope everyone enjoyed the lecture. Thank you all for giving the opportunity to deal the class for you people. Thank you, students.
Thank you
The
very
point-
much, sir, for the wonderful class. I think students have got us information regarding fluid mechanics. And உங்களுக்கு எதுவும் doubt இருந்தா கண்டிப்பா call பண்ணுங்க. We are here to help you. And some of our students also there. ஏற்கனவே சார் class, ஐயரோட class attend பண்ணியிருக்காங்க. So excellent class. எல்லாருமே நம்பர் நோட் பண்ணிக்கோங்க. Please contact later by after the class or by tomorrow also. And thank you, sir. Thank you for investing your
pleasure.
valuable students.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank
for
you,
the
sir.
active- Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you, sir.